people there. So what's the ruling there?
So there are some differences of opinion on this, but my understanding of the rule is that because we did not have a quorum, we do not need to. We need to vote to take administrative note of the minutes, is what I would call it. And so that would be Colin, myself, and Christine doing so. There are some who hold a different point of view on that, but I believe the Attorney General's position on that is we cannot accept the minutes other than taking administrative notice of the minutes.
Okay. Everyone okay with that recommendation from Kevin?
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
So we'll ask Kevin and Christine, and I will give our administrative note of the meetings. Any corrections, edits, or changes before we, I guess, not officially accept, but make note of the notes. Kevin or Christine?
No.
Christine? Christine, are you good with the notes from the January 6th meeting? Christine might not be able to hear us yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure she can hear us.
We'll give her a sec. So why don't we...
I'll just text her to see if she can hear us.
Okay.
She doesn't have sound.
Does not have sound. Okay. Why don't we move forward as Christine's getting up to speed, because we do not need quorum, on the administrative minutes of the January 6th meeting. For the January 11th meeting, for those who are in attendance, any edits, clarifications from that meeting, or any questions from those who did not attend?
None from me.
Okay. We just lost Joyce for a minute, so we'll have to wait before we can. We're tackling all sorts of logistical and technical things this evening. Here's Joyce.
Oh, sorry. I just had to attend to my dog for a second.
Not a problem.
But I heard you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there are no questions or edits, do we have a motion to approve the January 11th meeting notes? Or minutes,
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? So on a motion by Kevin, seconded by Joyce, with no questions, we will vote on the minutes. We'll do roll call because we're in a virtual meeting. Kevin?
Aye.
Joyce?
Aye.
Anasul?
Aye.
Christine?
So Christine still doesn't have sound.
Okay.
So I think we'll have to have her abstain.
Okay.
But we 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we can do that.
And aye. So we are 4-0-1. Minutes approved. Thank you, Pam, for the minutes. Next, correspondence. Kathy, is there any correspondence?
There is not.
Correspondence. Excellent. Moving along to Friends Report. Mr. Crimmins.
Okay. Last Wednesday, we had both our monthly meeting and our annual meeting. I'll start off with the annual meeting. At the annual meeting, we had election of board members. This particular year, it's just the one-term members that are up for election. So those members, who are called at-large members, the two that were re-elected were Charles DePompo and Colleen McManus. We also elected two new members, and we're delighted to note that one of them is Betsy Buckland, who just retired from the library within the year. So we're delighted to have her join us. And Don Jenkins, who moved into town about 6 months or so ago, had expressed interest in our friends, and he joined the board as an at-large member. We also this year, Janice and I have both been doing two jobs. Janice was both president and bookshop chair, and I was VP and newsletter chair. And we were able to convince some of our fellow members to take on some new additional responsibilities. So Jen Uwe has stepped up, and she's going to be the newsletter chair, and Maggie Rossetti is going to be the bookshop chair. So we're delighted to make that notation and certainly to get the help. Also, at the annual meeting, we had made some cosmetic changes to the bylaws, basically some typos. And over the last 2 or 3 years, we have not met in December, so we decided to formalize that and put that in the bylaws. So those were approved and accepted. The other thing at the monthly meeting, we approved the 2022 budget. And the impact on the library is that, let's see now, we approved $81.92 for the adult area and $9,150 for the youth services group, for a total of $17,342. That's up from actual last year of $14,352. So it's almost a $3,000 increase over last year, which is about a 21% increase. So we're certainly contributing a lot to the friends are contributing a lot to the library. The income in 2021 we brought in was about $14,000, and actually our expenses were almost 22. So we're obviously operating in the deficit. We're dipping into our savings in order to provide the services, but the Friends as a group felt very strongly that we should contribute as much as possible to the library with ebooks and passes and programs and so forth. And we're delighted to see that they seem to be well attended. And the last item I have to talk about is January, we sent out a newsletter. And we send out newsletters 3 times a year. The January newsletter is important from the point of view that it's a once a year drive for memberships. And so we started our annual 2022 membership drive. So we have 100% of our board members are friends. We hope you people will, I don't know, but we hope all of you people will become members as well. And that's it from the Friends. Any questions or issues or comments?
No, I appreciate the report. Appreciate your ongoing support. And just, I'm going to second Dave's plug for us all to, if we haven't done so already, to return our Friends of the Boyden Library membership cards and donations to support the great work that they do.
Oh, thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay.
Any questions for Dave? Excellent. We're going to move forward. I want to just, as a quick aside before we move forward on agenda, I do need to I need to hop out of our meeting at 7:30. We may be close to finished by then, but if I do, I have a family commitment, I will hand over to our vice chair, Kevin, to complete the meeting. But I believe we're rolling along. I think we voted on the things that need votes for today. So moving forward, I'm gonna. Here's Catherine Uden joining. Excellent.
And Colin, Christine is on in video in one format and audio in another. So she is back with us.
Super. And we'll give Catherine a moment to join. And I think I'm going to, if it's okay with the trustees, I'm going to shuffle the agenda just a little bit, if that's okay. And excellent, Kevin, the co-host. Catherine, can you hear us?
Yes. Sorry, I had a problem with my internet. I apologize.
No problem. I think we each had different personal logistical or technical issues tonight. So glad you're here. We've just completed the Friends report. We're going to jump around a little bit in the agenda. I do need to step out at 1/2 the hour. What I'd like to do is skip down to our liaison and trustee subcommittees, really with a focus on the budget and the library director search, just to give an update there, if we can, please. Then we'll circle back on the professional reports. First, on the budget update, Kevin and Kathy and I met with 2 members of the AdCom last week. Kevin, can I ask you to give the update there? And you've been kind of taking the lead on the budget process.
Sure. So we met with the 2 members of AdCom, Dennis Keefe and Mike Brown, who are assigned to the library's budget for review, walked through the budget, the rationale behind the changes for it. Town manager did move forward to AdCom with a recommendation for the part-time young adult librarian position, as we had voted at our last meeting, with no further question or dispute. So that's good news. That is what is that budget, as we voted, is the budget that's in front of AdCom. We do have a full advisory committee meeting to discuss the budget tomorrow evening at, I believe we're scheduled for 8:15. That's lovely. And so we will be going in front of AdCom, but this was sort of as there are liaisons to preliminary sort of first round set of, why did you subtract from here, here, and here? It looks like you took money out of these various line items to pay for the young adult librarian. What's the rationale behind that? And Mike Brown is new to AdCom. Dennis has been on AdCom for several years and has heard the discussion about the importance of the young adult librarian in the past. So they were both generally supportive of the budget and didn't foresee or had no particular roadblocks had been raised to them by other members as of yet. So we'll be going tomorrow night to discuss that with the full AdCom.
Yes, Kevin, any questions? The board or attendees? Great. And then second is the library director search update, and I've been leading that process. So the update there is we conducted screening interviews with, I believe we had eight candidates, 6 candidates. I'm blanking now.
We did screening interviews with 6 candidates.
Six. Thank you, Kevin. Yep. Screening interviews with 6 candidates, and that was Christine, Kevin, Mike Johns, and me. Conducted those screening interviews with some feedback from the search committee, and we are bringing back 2 finalist candidates for in-person interviews, which will occur on Thursday. And though if we find some are ready to move to the final stages, those candidates will meet with the staff, meet with the trustees. The trustees will make our selection, who we would then choose to bring forward to the select board for their final approval. So that's where we are in the process. Anything, Christine or Kevin, you'd like to add, or questions from the trustees?
So are we on a pretty tight timeline? Certainly, if you need us to adjust our schedule, would that make sense?
I mean, I don't think there's any need for anyone to adjust their schedule at this point. Certainly, the interview round that's scheduled for Thursday is not a full library board meeting. It's the screening committee that was laid out at the beginning of the search, or the search committee, I guess we should call it. And then, yeah, it is likely that we would need to come back for a special at some point to move things forward.
Rather than waiting till next month.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a nice accident to have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just agreeing, actually, probably pointing out the obvious.
Just to clarify, those are in-person interviews.
Correct.
That's how, okay, just want to be sure.
Yep, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we will have more to share after our interview sessions on Thursday. And thank you to our team members who've been involved in that. Great. So circling back on the agenda, I'm going to hop kind of backwards on the agenda, if you don't mind, and like to turn to Kathy for the director's report, please.
I just want to highlight that we had to reschedule all our January concerts, our Sunday concerts, because the performers actually asked to reschedule them. We were going to go ahead with them. So I think one is rescheduled for March and the other is April. Stephen Lewis, the gentleman that does the art posters, but he contacted me again and he wants to come back to the library in September with his peace posters. And I think I don't think it's a bad idea. I know Manny sort of, had different issues with him, but I think the September exhibition is fine. I think peace posters, I don't think there would be an issue with that. So I don't know if you have an opinion.
Yeah, Kathy, I mean, just would you mind just sharing with me that, because he had to submit the example of the work of all the pieces they want to be shared, correct?
Yes, I think he does. I can't recall. I know he filled out the form, and I guess that's the next step, that he has to send some sort of, portfolio, if you will, of some, not all the posters, but some of them, just so we have an idea. I just, to be honest with you, I never had an issue with him, and I didn't see the controversy, but that's just me.
Yeah, I understand, and I think we want to treat every individual who's presenting items for consideration equitably, and that's what you're doing. And what I love to do, just in this interim phase, just be a second set of eyes with you on this, because I think that this policy in general has been one we focused on. So if you wouldn't mind, when he submits the work for consideration, if you could share those with me, and you and I can put our heads together on this and any other exhibits that are submitted for review during this period, if you wouldn't mind.
And I think that's, I don't want to go through the whole thing. So that's basically the only things that I wanted to highlight.
Okay, super. Appreciate it. And again, Kathy, we appreciate you stepping up in the interim role and keeping a steady hand on the wheel for the team during our search. And I know that on behalf of the trustees, have great confidence and appreciation for the work you're doing.
Kathy, did you want to just touch on the Women's History Month?
Oh, there's one actually coming up in March but it's for Women's History Month, and it's a woman that she has there's different local artists that will exhibit their work in the space. Some of it is, she's going to hang, and others are pieces that are sort of like sculpture. She will eventually send photos of the work. It's just that there's just, like, I would say 6 different artists, so that's going to take some time. But I can, as soon as she sends me them, I can send them to you.
Super. Sounds like a great exhibit, and we'll follow the same process. Excellent. Thank you. Next, if we can move to the professional staff reports, and at this point, I'm going to hand off the lead to Kevin. I'm going to step out for some family needs this evening, but appreciate Kevin you stepping in. Appreciate your flexibility, trustees and staff members.
Not a problem. So we have and good luck to everyone calling.
Thank you.
We have circulated, in addition to the director's report, we have the professional staff reports circulated as part of the package. Any issues, questions, items for consideration, anything people would like to discuss or bring to attention here? Hearing none. Thank you to the staff for putting those together and for the feedback on the various sections and what everybody is up to. Next up, financial reports also circulated to the group in anticipation of the meeting. This is through January. We're usually on a 1-month lag, right, because of the timing of when we meet. Any issues or items of concern there that people might wish to bring to attention? It all generally seems to be, what I would say is generally seems to be in order. The ones that are pretty much pre-funded are those things that tend to be the things that are subscription based, and so they're paid in a lump sum in advance. Okay. Hearing no new items or issues of concern on the financial reports, we've done the director's report. We have talked about subcommittee reports in the context of the search committee and in turn the context of the budget. Any other items that people would like to address in the context of, I'm not sure that there are any other items with respect to active committees that need to be discussed at this point, but I'm certainly happy to be proven wrong if I'm missing anything. Okay, hearing none. Okay, so then the next thing on the agenda is the strategic communications plan as presented, and external communications as presented by Town Hall. Kathy, is it appropriate? Are you the one that's most appropriate to walk through the background of this, the receipt of this information and the messaging that came from Town Hall with respect to it?
Yes. Initially, Bill Keegan sent out an email just making us aware that there is this, that this is going to happen. And it's going to be a really long process because it has to go before the selectmen. I called Christina Metcalf today, who's actually putting this together. So it's at the very beginning phases of it. And my concern, which this is why I thought it would be good to put on the agenda, was I just didn't want the town hall to be overreaching as far as our own like social media and our website. And I was assured over the phone that that wasn't the case.
So I'd like to walk it back a little bit to talk about what the it is. You've circulated to us external communications one pager. I mean, it's 5 pages, but that was sent to you from Town Hall, presumably, that talks about an internal and external communication messaging process. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yes.
And is there any real backstory that comes with this in terms of, was it discussed at a director's head meeting or is it just sort of sent down from Town Hall?
It was just sent down from Town Hall. It's something that they've been working on. And I guess maybe internally they need better communication within the departments in Town Hall. So that's why this came up. So it didn't really involve the library per se, but I got the email and I also got the PDF.
Yep. And I very much appreciate you bringing it to us. And there also is a section in here on crisis and urgent communications. Obviously, right. You got school outages, you got power outages, you have things of that, public health issues. There's certainly a place in there where they're trying to streamline that communication coming out of Town Hall for consistency of message. Okay. So with that, it does say create brand. I'm just looking at some of the information that jumped out at me. It says create brand guidelines and standards with an implementation plan for departments and boards and committees and commissions, whoever they feel that those are, that's undefined. We do have our own logo. We do have our own brand guidelines, which we developed several years ago. And which the Friends also make use of. And so we do, and we obviously do have our own messaging with respect to programs and events and, communications that we put out into the space on Facebook. And do we use Twitter? I think,
yes.
We do use Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much, but which is why I didn't know the answer right away. But so, certainly we have been more present in communications on our own. And so I think it does bear knowing how Town Hall expects the library to be a participant in this initiative. And that does not come through in the materials that I think.
It didn't come through in receiving the email, but then in further discussion with Christina Metcalf, it was made a little bit more clearer. Like one of the things that they would like to do is, which I think might be a good thing, a lot of we use Canva for all our promotion and stuff like that, and they would run workshops on how to actually use all facets of Canva because it's pretty extensive. So I thought that was a good idea, and just like simple coaching on like the right way to word like a social media post, or just all social media, just so it's consistent. So I did kind of agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's certainly ways that we can help them harmonize message if there's certain messages that they want to get out. And I certainly have no objection to helping them by using some of the platforms we're already using.
Right.
But I don't think that's the same as necessarily us needing to seek clarification from them on before
Right.
we send out messaging. So is that with that further feedback that you got from town hall, do you feel like that we're in the same mental direction?
Yes, I feel after speaking with her, I felt more comfortable. I didn't feel like they were intrusive anymore.
Okay. And I apologize. Catherine Uden has her hand up, but I didn't see it until just now.
That's okay. Yeah. So I just had a quick question, just because I looked at the attachment and it just seems, and I guess my question is, I didn't see the communication that went with it. And so I guess my question would be, is that are they just assuming a role of, I'm trying to think of who they is, like the big they, like they want us to have, logos and guidelines and blah, blah. Are they going to be watching? Or are they just providing best practices and letting letting us go and do and be? Or like who's the big they and what's the reach of they? And are they, I was unsure of what the purpose of who was telling who to do what and how much, I guess.
I think the person, Christina Metcalf, is overseeing the strategic plan. And they do, like she stressed to me that we're sort of, on our own because we do already have a brand. We already have a logo. We have, a new website. But they do watch, like she pointed out that why weren't we using our brand colors on the website? And that didn't come up when it was created. So I kind of asked her to explain a little bit. She's like, well, do you see the orange? There's some like section that's orange. And I'm like, I can't recall, but yes, for the sake of, discussion, yes, there is orange. So I guess she just thought that we should have kept with the brand colors. Mm-hmm. So yes, they are watching, like they're sort of not, I don't want to say watching, like monitoring, but they look at what we do. They look at what we post and, obviously they look at the website. And so that is kind of a little, disconcerting.
Well, we're an information source for them too.
Everybody's logos. And I'm just trying to figure, like, are they just watching, or are they providing a place on the town website for, like, if someone wants to get, the Boyden logo, they can come to the Boyden website or go to the town website?
Right. That's a good question that I don't know. Because I know that she wants to create like libraries of stock photos that the departments can use. But I didn't know if she meant the departments over at town hall or all the departments, including the library. I wasn't really sure.
Okay.
I just don't want to be forced to use the library, the photo library. I want to use what I want to use. So,
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what it is that they're looking to have us be applying to from the photo library. I mean, certainly we're not going to use a photo library at town hall for promoting events at the library. It just doesn't make sense, right? We're going to use the events photos. They just, some things I think probably just don't lend themselves. Right. But I also don't know to what degree, like, I'm not, they want to talk about whether we use blue or orange for colors. I'm happy to hear from them on why they are spending that much time thinking about our own brand guidelines and whether or not we are sticking to them. Right. Because whether we use orange for the adult section and blue for the children's section, I mean, like, our brand guidelines did lay all that out, but they're not the 10 commandments. It's,
no.
It wasn't designed for that. And in fact, it's not like the library board actually sat and voted to say, thou shall be blue. Right. So, I mean, I think we have, the guidelines were developed as guidelines for us to follow and grow and use in as expansive a way as possible if we so chose. The fact that we're using the logo is in and of itself an accomplishment, in my opinion. But that's just because I had to sit on the branding process to get to where we are. So, I mean, I think without greater clarity from town hall as to what exactly it is that they expect us to abide by or not abide by or make use of, if they're really just, trying to get a consistency of communication among their own divisions, so far, I have no problem with that. And actually, I note in the chat, because Christine is having some audio problems, Christine says, is town hall simply trying to liken communication between departments? I believe each department should have its own unique style. I think the answer, Christine, is we don't know. And I think that the town hall may be trying to harmonize certain elements of the Foxborough brand for messaging purposes, but I'm not hearing anything today that specifically says to me that it's associated with the library, unless we were doing messaging on behalf of the town in some way, in which case they probably would want us to stay consistent to whatever that branding is for them. But that's separate and distinct, as I view it, from our own messaging to our patrons.
Right. Again, it's still, to me, it sounds and feels like a plan in progress. And I just felt reassured that we weren't, we didn't have to fall under, what town hall does, that we were sort of separate.
I view it the same way. So without further direct guidance from town hall that's explicit to how they would like to see us be part of that folded in initiative, I would be inclined to say that we should be continuing on our current course for communications with our patrons. Anybody else? Joyce, Anasol, Catherine, I don't know if your hand is still up or is up again. So
nope, I forgot to put it down. That's my bad. Sorry.
No bad. Just want to make sure I didn't miss you a second time. So I don't know if anybody else has thoughts on that, but if so, please feel free to offer it.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking is that it'd be nice to know what the why of this notice. And what
I think I did forward Bill Keegan's email.
Oh, okay. I may have missed that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You did.
So I can forward it again and it's maybe explain it a little bit better and how it came about.
Yeah, that would be helpful for understanding. Thank you.
Just going to see if I can call it up right now, actually, for reference point. But so as referring to the email that Kathy sent to the board, the email does note, coming from Bill Keegan, town manager, that during the past year, the Board of Selectmen set out as part of their annual goals for the town manager goal to create a strategic communications plan. Over the course of the past several months, a lot of time was being put into developing a draft document. We want to share with you to get your feedback. Success of the plan depends largely on your buy-in and support for making this work. In the end, it's our collective goal to make communications both internally and externally a shining accomplishment for the organization. Let's see.
So I'm interpreting that as they just want to keep a nice, clean line open for communication and a way to, okay.
And that it also does seem like they would intend to do trainings or explain the roles and responsibilities associated with this as they get further along with the various departments. So, Kathy, if that request for explanation comes to you during your time as our interim, please feel free to invite them to a trustees meeting so that they can explain it to all of us.
And it's a little bit more concrete.
Well, yes, but I don't think that that's entirely yours to field. So my opinion is bring them on in. Others? Okay. So with that, if there's nothing else on that, and I think, Kathy, does that address your concerns or questions for this evening's purposes? Feel free to keep the chair advised, or obviously the full board advised as things come up and change and as you need to. That is strategic communication plan for external and internal communications. I think the last thing that we had on the schedule was just to take administrative notice of the January 6th meeting. Of course, we've now lost Colin and gained Christine. So we're back to not being able to do that this
Three
evening.
ain't bad.
Exactly. Try as we might. Thank goodness it's not an actually critical item as we Keystone Cops our way around it. So I think that, Pam, will have to carry forward to the March meeting. Any other items not listed on this agenda that we should be considering for business or action here this evening? Hearing none, thank you all for your time. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Joyce, second by Anisul. Any discussion? Hearing none, we do have to go out on a roll call vote, which I guess, Christine, means we're going to make you wave like a chicken or something. I'm not sure what we're going to do there for that. But so we'll start with Joyce Parlapiano.
Aye.
Anisul Chowdhury.
Aye.
Catherine Uden.
Aye.
Christine Igo Freeman. Waving like a chicken. Good. That's an aye. And Kevin Penders, aye. We are adjourned 5-0. Thank you all. Kathy, thank you again for putting all this together for us and getting us as organized as you possibly could have for us to be here tonight. We will do AdCom tomorrow.
Thanks.
Good luck with that.
Have a good night, all.